Good evening. Welcome to the 80s Babies Conversation. This is our Mommies Matter segment. I am Raven Cherie, the hostess with the mostest, and I am going to be sharing some tips for our moms tonight. So, to start out, if you're on our YouTube channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We are in need of more subscribers. We want to continue bringing you great content. We're working really hard at doing that. To get started, I'm going to give you all a motivational word. So this week, I had an issue with my self confidence. And I don't know how many of you sometimes deal with things like that, but not about how I look or how I dress, but because I'm working so hard at some things and I'm not necessarily seeing the fruit when I want to see it. So that is one of the challenges that I had this week. So I'll share this with you. I stumbled upon this scripture right here. It's Hebrews chapter 10, verses 35 through 36. And it just reads, "So do not throw away your confidence. It will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what he has promised." So this spoke volumes to me. As women and as mothers, there are things that come about that we do not plan for. They happen unexpectedly. Most of the time, we can laugh these things off, but sometimes we can't. They leave us shaken up, they leave us flustered, and sometimes they can have the potential to knock us off our stoops. When this happens, insecurities come about. The insecurities come about because we didn't plan for what just happened. As moms and as women, we like to plan and we like for things to go how we plan for it to go. But when they don't happen, the insecurities come because we didn't expect this. We didn't plan for this. Well, the enemy likes to see us flustered. Our haters like to see us shaken up, and they think they've knocked us off our stoops. And when these moments happen in the midst of our insecurities, sometimes we say things that we didn't mean to say out of emotion. Sometimes we didn't say what needed to be said. And sometimes we feel a little bit defeated because of whatever it is that we're going through, because we tend to doubt ourselves in these moments where we don't have confidence in what we're doing or we don't have confidence in the process. So I say to you tonight that if God doesn't bow in the presence of the enemy, why should we? Right here in this scripture, God tells us we have to persevere. Persevere means to keep going in spite of whatever is going on around you. So this week that's coming up, ladies, we have to remember that we are confident, because if God doesn't bow in the presence of the enemy, neither should we. Hold your heads up and persevere. Keep going and we'll make it through the week. So let's go ahead and dig right into it. It is Mommy's Matters. The first thing that we're going to talk about tonight is Disney's Louder and Prouder. So I'm not sure if you all have watched it, but Raylyn and I watched this whole series in a matter of yesterday and today. So Disney has remade the Proud Family's Louder and Prouder. So when we watched the Proud Family, it was totally, good for our household. And the Proud Family, they've always been a little loud to tell you the truth. But there are some things you may have to talk about with your child before watching the Proud Family, because now Penny's friend Michael is gay, and it is Pride Month, by the way, and I love all my LGBTQ friends. All right. But Michael is gay, and there is a family that moves into the neighborhood, and y'all feel free to talk to me in the chat because I'm solo tonight, so y'all got to talk to me in the chat. Hey, Laverne. Hey, Aretha. Hey, bro. All right. So in the Proud Family, Penny's friend Michael is gay, and brother and a sister moving across the street, and they are adopted. Also, they have two dads. So I went into it blind. I didn't really watch the reviews, but I'm very pro black, and I love black excellence, and I love black creativity, and I love black innovation. And I say this to say, so you need to have that conversation with your child before watching Louder and Prouder. It doesn't dim me down, and I think it's a conversation that needs to be had, for the simple fact that these are things that we're seeing in our everyday lives, and there's only so much that you can shelter your child from. So, in my opinion, the Proud Family, Loud and Prouder, is a good watch. I enjoyed it. My child enjoyed it. It sparked some great conversation. I applaud Disney for putting the Proud Family back out there, especially for our girls. Now, I am going to say, I think that it is more for your middle school group, because Penny is in middle school. She's dating now. That kind of thing. I wouldn't say that it was for my 7-year-old, but definitely I would want my middle schooler to watch it. And I think that the parents can get something out of it too. But a very good cartoon, a very good series. I'm so glad Disney bought it back. And I'm hearing that it's been renewed for a second season. Hey, Auntie Nay, how you doing? So tonight, we're gonna talk about some tips that help mothers who are working. How do we unwind, and just how do we make it as working mothers? And if you have some tips, please put them in the chat, because we need them. So, looking at some research, I saw that 4 out of 10 moms are working moms. And this is not a knock to those stay-at-home mothers. We salute the stay-at-home mothers too, because we know that that is a full-time job as well. But we want to get some tips to the mothers who are working and they are trying to balance work and being a mom at the same time and caring for themselves. Hey, Auntie Glow, how you doing? All right. So the first thing is to let that guilt go. And we keep talking about mom guilt. Mom is real. Mom guilt is real. And I'm going to be looking for somebody that I can bring on to talk about that too, because it is something that I experience. Hey, mama. So you cannot dwell on the time that you don't spend with your child. You got to go to work because you got to pay the bills, or you got to help pay the bills, or you got to help carry your household. So this is something that you have to do. But it is okay to explain to your child that in the midst of you working, you are putting away funds for them, or you are preparing a better life for them. So first of all, don't dwell on that mom guilt. Let that guilt go. All right. And we hit on this last week too, but find quality childcare. That is my second tip. Quality childcare is so important, because if you don't have a network of a babysitter, if you don't have a daycare, you don't have a family member in your network of quality childcare, things are not going to be as excellent for you, trying to get things situated in your life. All right, the biggest tip that I have for any mom is to get things ready at night. All right, don't get up in the morning trying to find clothes, trying to pack lunch bags. You need to do all that stuff at night. First of all, you don't want to frustrate your child in your frustration because you're not ready. So lay out the clothes at night. Pack the lunch bags at night. Get everything in, get book bags, shoes, everything in order for you and your child. Put your bags by the door. Put your kids' bags that you're taking to daycare or to the babysitter by the door, so that you have everything ready to go. That makes everything smoother. All you got to do in the morning is shower, bathe, put your clothes on, and walk out, grab those lunch bags and walk out the door, because you already have it ready. And this helps with your organizational skills as well, because you know what you need in order to get ready for the next day. And ladies, tell me what y'all think in the chat if y'all have some tips for working moms. There is one trick to balancing work and having a kid, and that trick is you are not in control. And you can't do everything in a day. And my aunt said, and don't forget your lunch, because my aunt was my angel this year. Every day that I forgot my lunch, she bought me lunch, and I thank her for that. I will walk out with everything except the lunch. So it does happen. All right, the next tip. I said how to balance work and having a kid or multiple kids. And I salute the ladies who have multiple kids, because I only have one, and it's a process, it's a job. You can't get everything done in a day. Prioritize. All right, prioritize what is important to do. So, and in my prioritizing, I set routines. Like, I can't do all of my laundry on Saturday. So maybe I have to do laundry twice a week instead of just trying to do it on Saturdays. But I also know that when I start breakfast, I start a load of laundry. All right. By the time I've cooked breakfast and I finish cooking breakfast, I clean my kitchen, the dryer is done, then I can go put the clothes in the dryer. That kind of thing. But if I'm left with one load of laundry by midday Saturday, it is okay, because I can't do everything in a day. I'll do it on Monday or I'll do it on Tuesday. But for me, I realized my secret is I cannot do everything in one day. I don't try to do everything in one day. All right. And that also leads to keeping a calendar. I keep a calendar. I love planners. I make planners too if you need one. But I prioritize my life with a planner. I write down everything that I have to do for a week. I program it to my Google Calendar so that each day I get alerts and alarms on my phone to help me remember things so that I don't get sidetracked, especially with the meetings and events and things that I have to go to and stuff like that. That has worked wonders for me and my organizational skills. The next thing will be talking to your employer. And I get it. Sometimes, I've worked for people who just don't care. So I know sometimes we work for people who don't care. But you need to talk to your employer. Let your employer know that you have to drop your child off at school in the morning or drop your child off at daycare in the morning. Let your employer know that you may have to pick your child up. And if you're salaried, you may be able to work out something where you're with your employee where you have comp time. If you're 15 minutes late, if you're 15 minutes late, you'll stay over 15 minutes later to compensate for that time. But let your employer know what's going on so that if you happen to run late one morning, they know that, oh, it's okay because Peterson had to drop her child off at school. Maybe the car rider line was a little bit long this morning. They won't really switch you about something like that. And also, as ladies, if you're still having children, maternity leave, that's important. You may not want to conceal the pregnancy. You may want to tell your employer that you're expecting, about when you're going to have to be out of work, how long you're expecting to have to take off work, when you expect to come back, those kind of things, so that if you need to have certain documentation or things like that filled out, your employer can help you do that. Another thing that I felt bad about was when I first started to having a little child, and even now having a 7-year-old, was being away from my child. How do I stay connected with my child and I'm not with her? Well, if your child has technology, if you have an old iPhone, you can give that to your child, because they don't necessarily need a cellular plan. They can just be connected to Wi-Fi. You can FaceTime your child. You can send your child text messages. I know my child has an iPad. Y'all talk to me in the chat and let me know if I'm giving out good tips, and let me know if you have some tips. Well, you can talk to your child on the iPad. I like to read to my child. You can read a story and record yourself reading that story and send it to your child's iPad or upload it to your little burner phone that you gave them, or whatever the case may be. Record yourself talking to your child. And that works wonders, especially for those mothers who have little kids. The most important rule I had to learn, and as a teacher, was I had to learn to leave work at work. And as a teacher, we get flooded with having to grade papers and stuff like that. No, I'm not grading papers over the weekend. My weekend is for my child. So, I learned to use things like Zip Grade to help me grade papers in the classroom, or, those kind of things, putting grades in a simpler format. I realized I didn't have to grade every single paper, but I definitely don't bring work home anymore. And I don't bring my work email. I don't bring them home. I check them when I get back to work on Monday morning, for the simple fact that my family time is valuable to me, and I value being a mother. So we can't bring our work home each and every day. So we have to make good use of, our break times, and catch up with our coworkers on that time. Yes, Sandra, at the end of your shift work, leave all stress and drama at work. I agree with that. Don't let that stuff filter over into home. And if you're having drama at work, each day try to start anew. Forgive, forget, and move on, because we don't need that stress. We don't need that high blood pressure. Leave that stuff at work. Yes, because when you get home, it is family time. And speaking of that, that's my number 10. Family time is crucial. You have got to spend time with your family. You have got to spend time with your kids, because they grow up and they don't forget. All right, family time. It doesn't have to be anything expensive or extravagant, especially with the prices of everything. Food is already costing an arm and a leg. Today, my car was not on E. Last week, gas was $3.99 on today. Well, today when I went to fill up in Georgia, gas was $4.19. So family time doesn't have to be anything expensive. It could be board games that you already have at home. It could be finding a movie on Netflix or on apps. And we know there are some free movie apps out there where you can watch movies for free. Okay. So it could be sitting out in the yard, draw hopscotch on the sidewalk in your driveway with sidewalk chalk, and just sit out and play with your kids, because that time is so important. That is how they remember us and the fun that they've had with us. And don't get too old to play with your kids. I still play with my child. All right. So don't get too old to do that. My next tip is, this is what we forget. We're so focused on the work and we're so focused on the kids. And oftentimes I talk about being married, but I'm single. But if I had a partner, ladies, squeeze in some time for your husbands and your partners. That is very important. Your partner, your husband, your boo thing is the number one person by your side. All right. Make sure you get at least a monthly date night in. Make sure that you hone in on that relationship. Make sure that you all rejuvenate each other and enjoy each other's company uninterrupted. Find that time to do something with your husband, your partner, your boo, your bae. You got to give them that time in the midst of working and being a mom, which is why you got to leave that work at home, because home is for your family. That's what you pay the bills for. All right, and the next thing, and this may seem difficult to do, but after you've made time for the kids and you've made time for your spouse, your partner, your boo, your bae, don't forget to ask bae for help. All right, because bae works and you work too. It's okay if you cooked and bae needs to do the dishes. You got to ask, like, bae, can you do the dishes? Because I just want to soak in the bathtub a little bit longer tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and start my bath. All right. And if it's a good bae, he has already ran the bath. But if he didn't, you ask him to do the dishes so that you can get the extra time you need to yourself. So ask your partner for help. And that's why you keep your partner happy, so that they can help you with those things that you may need help with, because they help us. That's what they're there for, to help us. They may start the laundry, they may cook the dinner to give you a break that night. They see you've had a rough week, that kind of thing. So be sure to nurture your relationship with your partner, because your partner is there to help you. And a free date, go to the park, talk and walk. Yes. And you can take the whole family to the park, Auntie Gloria, because while you and your partner are talking and walking, you can let the kids feed the ducks if you have kids. All right. And last but not least, me time. After you've done all these things, ladies, because this is Mommy's Matter, you have got to squeeze in some time for yourself weekly. One of my favorite things to do, when I get in my car, when I walk out of my job, I get in my car, and maybe before I put my foot on the pedal, I just have a few moments of silence because I got to let work go. I have to digress and just get ready to leave that parking lot and focus on what I have to do with my child and what I have to do at home. All right. But you have to find that thing that no matter how frustrated you are, that just makes you feel good. All right. That could be meditation and yoga. That could be dancing. That could be having an ice cream cone or whatever that thing is for you that just recharges you no matter how bad your day is. You have got to squeeze that in as many days as possible, at least once a week, and definitely once a month, because you already know that your time as a mother, if you are a working mom or even if you're a stay-at-home mom, your time is divided up between work, your your kids, and your household and your partner. So whatever little bit you have left, you have got to give some time to yourself. You can do this by journaling. You can get you in some extra naps. I started napping this summer because I'm off on Fridays, and I that those naps help me out a lot. You can also try to get fit and exercise. And I shared with y'all on the last one, on the last Mommy Matters, that I went to Columbus Metabolic Research, and today I actually started my detox, and I did post my breakfast on my Facebook page. And for my lunch, I had a salad, and I don't know what I'm going to have for dinner yet, but I'm doing this detox because you have got to invest in yourself among everything else that you are doing. So I think I gave us about 11 tips tonight. If I went a little too fast, please go back and watch. It was just me tonight, ladies. I thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Me and my brother have been working hard. Our YouTube channel, the 80s Babies Conversation, like our Facebook group. Thank you and good night.